Hello, we have some news to talk about, and I figured I'd do this update because there's some pretty outrageous things that have been going on Long Island, and we're going to get to that. As you know, yeah, this is a picture from. This is why I'm going to do it now. I like narrating from behind the computer. It doesn't mean I'm always going to do it, but this way. But it's easier for me. I have not been feeling well lately due to this really crappy warm weather and bad air quality. And we haven't any clear days at all. But this is a picture from Sears Bellows County Park, taken in April of 2016. Anyway, we got to talk about some stuff going on, and some of the stuff that I'm about to tell you is just pretty insane. And the first story that I want to talk about is what's happening in Shelter Island. So let's head way out to Shelter Island here, way out on the east end of Long Island. And when you hear this story I'm about to read to you, you're going to be pretty outraged. So this is Shelter Island right here. Shelter Island is between the North and the South Fork, and the only way to reach it is by ferry. So a lot of it is a lot of natural areas here. Not really any pine barrens per se, but there's a lot of natural areas, a lot of beautiful places. But unfortunately, some people feel the need to destroy those beautiful places. And so while you look at this area, I'm going to read to you this article here, and explain to you what happened over here. And all right, so investigators are working to find out who is responsible for illegally chopping down trees on Suffolk County parkland on Shelter Island. Jean Lawless, a resident of the area for 50 years, tells News 12 that she made the discovery one day back in mid-January as she walked her dog. She said that trees had been cut down in the area of Hay Beach, and she immediately alerted the authorities. Drone footage shows the affected swath of forest from the area of Manhattan Lane down to the bay. Some of the affected trees had their tops cut off, while others were completely felled. Some of them are 40-year-old cedar trees, Russian olive, all of which feed the birds and animals there, Lawless says. Whoever did it, whoever's responsible, they've just destroyed a really beautiful forest. It amounts to about 4 acres of a coastal forest, all felled with a chainsaw. Lawless says she counted more than 100 affected cedar trees. Everybody should be upset about this, says shelter environmentalist Tim Purtell. He says the trees that were destroyed protected the coast from erosion and provided food and shelter for birds and animals. There are 2 homes that abut the swath of affected forest. News 12 knocked on their doors to see if the residents knew anything about the chopping, but no one answered. Suffolk County Police Department's environmental unit confirms it is investigating, but further details have not been released. I'm glad the county is considering it a crime because it is a crime against nature, a crime against all of us, Lawless says. Those responsible could be fined thousands of dollars per tree that was taken down. So I'll put some links in the video here to a Vimeo that was taken by drone footage by News 12. But I'm going to show you the area and of course the story. But I want to show you the area that was involved here. Give it a closer look for you. So you're looking at it right now, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in on this. Zoom in on this here. All right, so this is the area right here, Manhattan Lane, and you can see here there's a beach, and this road right here, and these 2 homes right here. And so these are where the trees were cut, right here. You can almost maybe even see it in the Google where the trees were cut, but this is where they were cut, right over in this area right here. And these are the 2 homes. And why are the 2 homes relevant, you may ask? Well, they're relevant because what's happened here is obviously somebody wanted a better view. And so they decided they wanted a better view of the water, so they decided to cut down the trees. And so it's pretty obvious where the police need to start their investigation. It's probably the person in either this home or this home. And I'm thinking it's probably this home because this one's got the fancier one with the pool. So I'm thinking it's definitely probably this one that cut the trees. All right. I'm almost certain of it. All right. So the police need to be knocking on the doors. And why, the police know about it, and I'm glad it's being considered a crime. But they're taking too long. It's obvious to figuring out who did it because the house is right here. All right, who else would do this in this isolated area, cutting down trees, and all the chainsaws and all the noise that would create? And nobody in this area called the police when this was going on? Nobody? It's really, really very suspicious. And so we're going to go ahead and look at some of the street views from the area. You can see, first of all, that this is a coastal cedar forest here. So you have a lot of eastern red cedar, but we're going to go ahead and look at some street views now of the area and show you what is being damaged. Okay, so I'm going to just give a better view here, a wider view here. Let's go into the street view. We'll start off on Gardiner's Bay Drive here and then work our way down Manhattan Lane. All right, so this is Gardiner's Bay Drive here. There's a golf course off to the left, and off to the right are the homes in question. So you have to wonder, one of these homes here, probably this one, but I can't say for sure. But this is where the police obviously need to start their investigation, because you have to look when a crime is committed, who is going to gain from it. And so this, by the way, is county parkland. So it's in back of these houses. So it wasn't like they owned the property. They didn't own the property. And it's obviously one of these houses here that did it. So they cut the trees down so they could get a better view of the bay. It's obvious what's going on. So we're going to go down here. This is Manhattan Lane here, and show you what I can show you, at least, of the forest in this area. So we're going down Manhattan Lane. You can see there's the house over there. It's amazing how nobody would notice what was going on. By the way, I didn't know this, but usually they aren't very common on Shelter Island, but that looks like a pitch pine over there. It's good to see. But anyway, yeah, I have a feeling it's this house. These look like rich people, just going by the driveway and stuff. You know, rich people that moved out from the city and don't like the trees and complain about the deer and just cut everything down in sight. You know, the same kind of thing that goes on across the island. So, this street view is from taken in August of 2012. But this is the forest down here where it happened. So, I think, yeah, it's down here. This is the forest here. So you can see a lot of eastern red cedars, and that's the cedars that she was talking about. This is a coastal forest here. Yeah, see the luxury cars. This was from 2012. It's probably even worse now. It's taken in the summer. Obviously, you have all the city it's coming out in the summertime. But this is the beach here. This is the beach here. And very nice beach, very pretty. And you can see here there are all the cedars. So all this whole area of cedars here, a lot of them have been cut down. A lot of these eastern red cedars, and it's an important coastal forest for a lot of reasons, you know. And significantly, what was done was significantly damaging to the forest here in this area. So you could see in here, sorry, I'm wondering now. The only one is from 2012. So you get an idea of what the area looks like from the street, at least, and in here. So it's owned by the county. You know, there are posted signs there. It is technically owned by the county. It's county parkland, and they just went in and they just cut these trees down. So I think it's pretty disgraceful, really, what happened here. You know, this is destruction of the environment here, and it's really just terrible. And like I said, these street views were taken from back in 2012. It's very possible that house, first of all, that house that's in the street view looks nothing like the house in the, yeah, that looks nothing like the house in the aerial photo. So I'm thinking this house may have been knocked down, and these rich people came in from the city and then built a big new house and then wanted to knock down all the trees. That's probably what, yeah, that doesn't look anything like the house in there. There's a big pool in the back. So I'm very interested to see if, you know something, let me see if I can find another street view. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to see if I can find another one through the Bing.com and see if that one is going to be different. Okay, I do apologize for that. The computer just decided to break down, basically. Like a nice bus. It was basically like an old bus going up a hill. It couldn't move. I had to stop the video and close down some things to get it to move. So I'm using the Internet Explorer now because it doesn't like working in Bing and crashes. The Bing crashes Google Chrome. So let's see. Is there any changes to that house? It looks like they cut down a couple of trees. That yeah, definitely looks like they cut down some trees from the at least from the road. I can't say for sure. Well, yeah, I think there have been some changes to that house. So yeah, I think that house definitely probably transferred ownership or something, and that's why you saw the trees cut down. That's what I think is going on. So that is what is going on in that area, and it's a real shame. This is what I talk about all the time. These rich people moving out from the city. They come out, and I know this happens in other areas too. They come out and they want to turn it into the city. They want to cut down the trees. They complain about the deer, so they want the deer killed. They complain about being far away from stuff, so they want more stuff built. This is what I got to say. Please, we don't want you out here, all right? If you don't want to live like Long Islanders live, then stay the fuck out, all right? Stop cutting down trees and stop destroying the planet. I want to show you some other areas because this got me started on a whole thing here. I did a video a long time ago, and I want to talk about other areas where trees were cut down. They weren't forests per se, but they were beautiful areas, and I want to show you those areas and show you what's happened to them. Now, another area we're looking at here is Lake Grove, and there was... I'm going to go in here and show you what the destruction took place along here. So there were some beautiful woods that were in this area. You could see all the dirt, obviously. These woods were knocked down, and what they wound up building were a bunch of McMansions. So let's see if Google has a current view of what's going on. I'm sure it's going to be heartbreaking to see. No, they don't actually. Google has... Do they have it? No, they don't have it yet. All right, so this is from 2013. All right, so this is in Lake Grove or on Mauritius Road. It was an old school here, and it was abandoned, but there were some really beautiful pitch pines here. And this is all gone. They don't have a more current street view, of course, but I'll just show you that this is all gone here. I did a video a while ago about this, and they knocked down all these. Look at these big beauties. Look at this. This is all gone. This is all gone. Every single tree was cut down, and what they decided is to build more of the McMansions. So what you see over here, if we go over here, instead of that, you're going to get this. You're going to get more McMansions. So all these trees are gone. This is all cut down. Here's another look at it. It's a shame I never got to explore this property, but that's all cut down, and you have more McMansions. These go for like $700,000, $800,000. Got your luxury car in the driveway there. Looks like an Audi. And this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. They're chopping down the trees. Look at these gargantuan houses. Let me tell you something. Who the fuck needs to live in a house that big? Look at these things. Who the fuck needs to live in a house that big? There's no reason for it. These people disgust me. And you should be disgusted too. And that's why we got to keep talking about it because, I've spoken to other fellow Long Islanders today who feel very much the same way that I do about these rich city people coming out here. Stay in the city where you fucking belong. All right? So let me see if I can find another more current view of that from Bing to show you the destruction. If not, then I'll talk about some other areas. Bing still has the old view too. So you could see here is another view of it. Look at that, beautiful. It's all gone. All those pines are gone, leveled, and fortunately they don't show you what it looks like. You know what? I don't ever want to pass this area again because it'll just break my heart. So we're gonna look at some other areas that I've talked about, like at Bethpage, and then we'll talk about some other things. Okay, I want to give you an example of what's been going on here, and this is not on the same kind of scale. But this is Bethpage here, William Street, and see that beautiful big pitch pine there. Well, that pitch pine is not around anymore. The reason why it's gone is because this little house right here apparently wasn't good enough for somebody, and they decided, and it's a cute little house. I mean, that almost looks historic, all right? But this was all knocked down. And what took its place, you may ask? Well, here you go. Another freaking huge McMansion. Here you go. So they knocked the tree down. They had to knock the tree down, of course. So the pitch pine isn't there anymore. And we got, what do you know? a McMansion there. So this is going on all across the island. People wind up knocking down old homes and building new homes. All right, and a lot of these are historic houses, and they don't care. They don't care, and this isn't the only example of it. There's another example of it in the same area. All right, so I just want to show you just one more example in the area. So look at this big beauty, this big beautiful pitch pine. All right, this was taken in August 2011, Bethpage area. There's a big beauty right there. Well, it's not there anymore. Look at that beauty. Nice cute little house too. So let's see what it looks like today. So the beauty's gone. As you can see, I do apologize. This computer is funky. As you can see, that big beautiful pitch pine is gone. And it's not there anymore. So why was it cut down? Why? It didn't look like it was not unhealthy or anything. Why was it cut down? This is the image from 2014. So it's already an old image. Who knows? There probably is a McMansion there because the house was too small for, Most of these people coming in, they want to, like I said, like I talked about before, everything's got to be ready to go for these millennials. They don't want to do any work. They don't want to do any fixing up or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just wanted to show you a few more examples of the kind of crap that's going on here on Long Island. It's happening all across the island with the loss of historic homes and the loss of historic properties to people who have no respect. They're from the city and they want to just turn it to where they came from. They don't respect our way of life, and they just want to turn it into another extension of New York City. We got to say no. We got to put a stop to it. So there's a couple other things I want to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about, which is more transportation related, is towns that are because people, it's not on Long Island, no. It's in New Jersey. And this is happening in Weehawken, and this is happening in Leonia. All right? So they have banned traffic from certain streets. So we're just going to look on the map here at Weehawken here, which is right by the Lincoln Tunnel. All right, and so what they have done is they have banned people from driving down certain streets. Like, for instance, if you're trying to avoid traffic going into the city, all right, they are now not allowing you to drive down these two streets here. All right, so this is one example, all right, one of these streets. They don't want people driving down these streets and then cutting through to avoid the traffic and the traffic light. So the police have come and have closed off the streets. You have to live there to go down the street, and you'll have to show ID to go down the street. And this is the problem. These are public streets. Who is Weehawken to say, well, sorry, you can't drive down here? This is like taking what goes on along the Babylon branch, the parking, and taking it to a whole new level. Weehawken happens to be right across from Manhattan. You're going to be dealing with traffic living there. And if you don't like traffic on your street, well, it's just you live somewhere else. But it's the same kind of thing. You have these snobs coming in that live in there, and they just want to just turn into their own little country club and make it a little private. But it's public. Your street is public, all right? So you don't have a right to do that. And the same thing is going on in Leonia, which is a little further north. I think, where is Leona? I'm not too familiar with this area of New Jersey. I think it's next to Fort Lee. Yeah, it's over here. So the same thing is going on in Leonia, where they are closing off certain streets for people that are driving. And, you have to live in the area to go down these streets. What kind of bullshit is this? Really? It's illegal, and I'm almost certain there are already people that filed lawsuits. I'm almost certain it's going to be overturned in the courts because you can't do that. But these are all areas where there are snobby people that just want to be, they don't want to share. This is what's going on. We have a culture of greed, a culture of just. I guess that's going to lead me into the next thing I got to talk about. Well, I brought this up in my other video a little bit, and that is that I'm sick of hearing about Trump on the media. That's all they talk about. And let me tell you something. Trump is just the hugest blowhard ever, all right? And I voted for him, all right? And why am I talking about this? Why are you looking at a picture of Donald Trump, at Jared Kushner, and Ivanka Trump? Why are we looking at it? Because the people on the right, see, everybody got bamboozled into thinking, oh, we are going to get Trump in. He's going to rebuild the infrastructure. He's going to deport the illegals. He's going to bring law back to this country. But the image that you got here, you didn't get this. No, what you really have is what you have on the right here. These people are the ones running the country here. A bunch of preppy, entitled. This is exactly the kind of snobby people I cannot stand. They pretty much epitomize the kind of snobby people I can't stand. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Look at how freaking preppy they are. All right, so this is what goes on, and how this relates to the transportation is he introduced a transportation bill and made it seem like, oh, this is going to be a great transportation bill. Here's the thing. Most of that money is not even going to mass transit. Most of it's going to the Midwest. All right? And this relates to the climate because the climate, we are in a climate emergency. Andy made a video yesterday about this. We are in a serious climate emergency here. And this president wants to drill more for oil. He wants to cut back regulations for the environment, to protect the environment. He's doing everything to benefit the rich, and none of it is benefiting the average American. None of it. None of it. He brags about it, but the truth is none of it is benefiting the average American. All the benefits are going to people like this. All right? They're all going to people like this. Preppy, stuck-up, already rich people. All right? They're not going to the average American. So we have a climate emergency, and Trump wants more cars on the road, more freaking Mercedes, more Audi, more luxury cars on the road, when we need to be phasing out the use of fossil fuels. We need to be phasing out. We need to change. You know, I know car culture is a big thing here in America. I know that. And I want to talk a little more about car culture and how we need to change that next, but I just want to briefly say, some of Trump's ideas lately are literally insane. All right, I have a disability. I rely on food stamps, and Trump now has proposed an idea that will pretty much restrict what I won't be able to choose what I eat. He wants to send us boxed food. What bullshit is this? I can't go to the supermarket like a regular person now? You're trying to send me boxed food? Mr. Trump, all right? I voted for you, but you've turned your back on all of us. You know, look at what happened with that football star that was killed by the illegal. Then we have another crime out east with an illegal raping a kid in a car. All right? They're still here. He ain't deporting them. Because the image you got in November isn't the image you got in November 2016 in that election, the campaign. You didn't get this. You got this. These are the people pulling the strings here. All right? Not this guy. He sold us a scam. All right? Instead, what we're getting is this. This is what we're getting running our government here. All right? So I want to talk about the car culture and what needs to change in America. I know there's a bunch of things in this video here, different topics, but I want to cover all this stuff because the mainstream media isn't. Like I said, anyway, we're going to talk about the car culture here in America, and this is a picture of what you see on the road here on Long Island. Luxury SUVs, usually Mercedes, GLs, sometimes Audis. These things are terrible for mileage. They get terrible mileage, all right? And nobody really needs to drive a vehicle so big and so high. And to me, they are trucks, and they should be classified as trucks. Instead, they're classified as cars or light trucks, so therefore they can go on the parkway. Therefore, anyone with a regular driver's license can drive them. When you go to other countries, all right, and look, I know cars are a big part of American culture, but let me just touch on this. When my relative was in the Netherlands, the vast majority of people took public transportation, or they rode bikes, and the public transportation network was excellent. It was clean, it was frequent, it was reliable, you could get anywhere with it. Compare that to here, where our public transportation system is falling apart, all right? Not only do you have what's going on with Nice Bus, Nice Bus being, you know, pretty much driving away a third of the ridership that Long Island Bus had because it's so freaking unreliable and because they cut so much service, but you have problems at the MTA now. You know, we had problems at the Long Island Railroad. We have serious problems on the subways, and Andy has touched on this. And Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo are bickering over who's going to pay for it. But meanwhile, the people who ride the subways are caught in the middle. They don't want to come up with the money to fund the subway system, which is falling apart. Look at our mass transit in this country. It is freaking pathetic. You go to Europe, you can take a train anywhere. All right? Here, it's pathetic. All right? And it's killing the environment because we are one of the top countries that is emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And we have people on both sides of the aisle. I'm not just going after Trump. Cuomo is just as much to blame. Under his leadership, this state has driven more people to their cars because he's allowed the cutting of mass transit. He allowed what happened with Nassau County's bus system, which drove away a third of the ridership. All right? He allowed what's going on in the city right now, and that's going to drive more people to their cars, more traffic on the road. All right? So we are moving backwards in this country. All right? And I think that we need to think about this is my idea of what we need to do here. Let's look at a nice picture here, and we're going to talk about how I would make America better, all right, when it comes to the environment and maybe some other stuff. No, just the environment. We'll focus on that, all right? I promise this will be the last segment of the video, but I want to talk about how we can make America better, all right? And neither the Republicans nor the Democrats have the solution to the problems that we face in this country. All right, and specifically when it comes to the environment, we need to be investing more in mass transit. All right, we need to be rebuilding our public transportation infrastructure. All right, we need to be fixing the subways. We need to be fixing the Long Island Railroad. We need to be restoring all the bus service that has been cut on Long Island, all of it. All right, all of it. All right, and we need to make people start taking public transportation again. People won't use public transportation if it's not reliable and it's not frequent. All right? And one thing they've done in Europe is it's reliable. It's frequent. You can get anywhere with it. All right? Few people will need a car. All right? So we need to think about how we modernize. We need to modernize our rail system. We need Amtrak to be more like the railways in Europe. All right? It's going to cost a lot of money, but it's going to be worth it in the end, all right? And we need to shift away from the private automobile, all right? If somebody really wants to own a car, I'm not going to say let's stop them, all right? But what we will do is make cars much more expensive to own, all right? Gas is way too cheap, and we need to actually start mandating a shift away from fossil fuel powered vehicles. All right? First, mandating hybrids. All right? Let's say 5 years from now, mandate every car as a hybrid. And then 10 years from now, mandate that only electric cars are made. All right? Have the charging stations everywhere. You could have solar panels in the parking lots that power those charging stations. All right? We don't need to be burning fossil fuels to create energy either. There's plenty of energy from the sun, the wind, ocean currents, and nuclear as well. We don't need to be burning fossil fuels for that either. We can get ourselves off fossil fuels. Europe has done it already. Europe has done it. But we haven't. All right? We got to get with the program. Other countries, even China, has massive plans. Bigger plans than we have. What does our president put out? Our president puts out something that's going to focus more on roads in rural areas. And it's going to make states and local municipalities share a greater burden of the cost of these public transportation projects, when the government should be supporting it. This guy is taking America backwards. Just like Bill de Blasio is taking New York City backwards. All right? I have friends who still support him. Let them support him. I no longer support this president. All right? He's turned our back on us with so many things. And like I said earlier, what you're getting is not the Donald Trump that he campaigned in 2016. What you're getting is policies of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Those are the policies you're getting. All right? So we need to move in that direction, and it's not going to happen under Donald Trump. And it wouldn't have happened under Hillary Clinton, and it wouldn't have happened under Barack Obama either. We need a new direction for this country, a new party for this country. Maybe it's the Green Party, maybe it's another party. And as far as the Democratic Party goes, they've lost their way. All right? Democratic Party supports the rich. All right? This isn't the party of John F. Kennedy or Franklin FDR. No, this is a party of the elites. All right? The same people that are running the Democrats are actually running the Republicans too. They want the illegals here for the votes and for the cheap labor, so they're not going anywhere. They want to keep people on fossil fuels because they are all receiving money from the big oil companies. All right? It doesn't matter what party it is. You're getting the same end result. It really isn't making a difference anymore. All right? And we have a serious problem in this country with greed, with materialism, and it's going to wind up in our demise. Think of the children that are growing up today. What kind of world are we going to give them when the trees are dying? When the OC levels are rising, when the air is so dirty that you need to wear a mask to breathe? What kind of future are we giving them? We're not giving them a good future right now. All right? So we need to change our ways in this country. All right? You can still keep the car culture. You can still have electric cars. And yeah, I know people like the sounds that the regular cars make. Guess what? Computers can generate those sounds. All right? And as far as buses go, and eventually buses also have to shift away from the use of fossil fuel. It is happening. But there's something that, like I said in the other video I made, there's something that actually the bus replaced. That was called the trolley. All right? We need to go back to those trolleys. We could have trolleys. A lot of other countries have trolley systems still. But we took a lot of ours down. We used to have trolleys all over Long Island. In fact, many of the bus routes that exist today were once trolley routes. So let's go back to those trolleys. They were more reliable. They were more energy efficient. Let's go back to them. All right? It's not new technology. I'm sorry, but the combustion engine is something that needs to go extinct. Because if it doesn't, our environment is going to go extinct, and the human race may wind up going extinct. Anyway, talked about a lot of things in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This view, by the way, is of Sears Lake at Sears Bellows County Park. So that is it for this video. We don't have the right leadership in Washington. We don't have the right leadership locally. We need a massive change in this country in the direction we're heading. And I honestly think it will happen. If it isn't of our own choosing, then the world will eventually force us to get in line and start being more kind to this planet. Anyway, take care, and thank you for watching. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day, of course, but I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, so take care.